I have a
So-
question.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, whoever. Go ahead.
First of all, awful. Nice to finally meet you. Anthony J here.
Oh, thanks, man.
Nice.
Pleasure to
What's
meet
up,
you.
Anthony?
So, how are we supposed to book an Edge and Christian team over there when you can't even use the name Edge? Cope and Cage? Yeah, maybe, but let's face it. We see them together. You're going to start chanting Edge and Christian, Edge and Christian. I don't know how you book that.
You can book it. It's going to take about 6 months for it to be done correctly and for it to be fully realized, and so that every little bow is tied to each, particular week. But Tony's motto is to rush things, and I think he's going to. Yeah, I think that he's going to have Cope and Christian face FTR. Is that the feeling you guys are getting at all?
Yeah.
Now that
Yeah.
you
We're
said
all
it,
in.
100%. I didn't
Yeah.
think of it before, but yeah, that would make the most sense. Do they have a Canada tour or like a show in Toronto or anything coming up? Because if they do, we can kind of figure out that it's going to lead up into that, I would think.
Not in
But
the
do they?
future.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Jake, George. Do they? Does Edge and Christian draw in Toronto or Quebec or
Oh, it's not
that
about
beers
the
with
draw. It's that Tony can give them a moment for them. Like, his
Dude, that's
Yeah,
we're 6
yeah.
years into this thing. Tony's got to stop with that philosophy. He's got to make a buck or two.
Well,
He's got to
here
make a buck or
friends.
two.
He's not here to make money. That's why Punk had to leave.
I mean, a retirement angle could probably work. He seems to be able to write those really well, but a retirement
That's because they write
isn't really that
themselves.
difficult.
You know the ending of the story.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
one for one.
That's the only reason he can do it.
Exactly.
True though. I mean, you've got a point. But I
noticed that Edge was all of a sudden, or Cope, sorry, was
No,
coming
you can call him
online
Edge.
and
We can call him Edge here.
telling people that he has no creative control over the finishes, and that's become a big talking point now.
Yeah,
everyone's
just because it's
speculating
not
who has
written in his
creative control on
contract
that.
doesn't mean that he can't tell Tony what he wants to do. Like, he's literally playing that as like, oh, hey, it's not in my contract. I don't have the creative. Bullshit. Who has he put over since he joined the company?
Right.
Tony's
You
got
notice
his
that
action figures.
Whoa.
Sorry about that. I
Great
said
question.
Tony's got his live action figures talking to him, and he listens to them. And the more rare ones, like your Edge, like your Daniel Bryan, he's going to listen to them over his bargain basement ones that he just got off Ring of Honor TV.
Question for you guys:
Sure.
Did you see that? Did you see that news where it's like he wanted to put over Finn Balor at 39, and I'm like, it's 2 years later. What does this have to do with anything now?
Because he went on that grand tour last week. See, here's the thing. I love it when people go like, the IWC doesn't matter. Nobody listens to the IWC. The IWC, nobody pays attention. And to a degree, they're correct. But here's the thing. The wrestlers pay attention to the IWC. And when the groundswell gets loud enough, they actually hear what's going on. So that's why Edge went on that 1 week tour of like, I'll put over anybody. I'll put over anybody.
I put over people. I put over people. Austin Theory like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah,
Come on.
I put over Roman Reigns. Like, who cares? You haven't put over anybody in AEW. And the problem is like, just like Mercedes Moné, Edge is facing the same sort of problem. They think that just being in the same ring as these people is giving them the rub. And I'm talking about these newcomers or people who are veterans from Japan that come and face Sasha or Cope. The bottom line is like, it's not just about the rub. These people have to get over on you. And then from there, you have got to create some sort of creative storyline where you get your win back, you turn heel, you become more of a babyface. Something's got to give. These one match and then we're through with you type of deals is not going to work in the grand scheme of AEW.
What's the payoff? What is the
payoff?
It's
Who
the
was it
mutual
that they
respect
said that they put
era.
over? Like that
Right.
they got over because Action Andretti. He was going to be the next big star because he beat Jericho once.
Yeah, Action Andretti, Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia. You can go on and on. Where the hell is Wardlow? And every time they pop out Powerhouse Hobbs he gets no pop because what's he involved in now? Hologram, Harley Graham, or some like it's like come on now. He tries to find them something to do so that they're still on TV. And the problem is with these nubiles, these young wrestlers, it's like they think that's all they've got to be is on TV. Wrong, pal. You got to create something. You got to make some moment happen. Yeah.
I literally feel like they took Harley and she was kind of getting over it. He wanted to leech off that and put that onto Hologram. Yes. So it's just like, here, go over here and put on the lucha mask. It's like, wait, what?
It's the idea like Jericho of like, hey, what can I attach to? Like, what's hot? Let me peel the heat off of that. the one character we know Tony has created is Hologram. And so he's like, hey, I've got it. Let's try to latch on, and then puts it on Collision where no one will see it or care.
In the shittiest sock mask of all time. Like that thing, I don't know how that thing even sells over 10 fucking parcels. That thing looks ridiculous.
Looks like a crash test dummy mask. Like
yeah.
just painted differently with the mask.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so
safety green.
It looks like a ski mask
It
here to
looks
rob a
like
bank.
the mask in the movie Cast.
Right.
It's so bad. It's
where
and they're
where
$60
Tony,
now. He raised the price on them too.
Oh my God.
Where Tony and Vince McMahon are alike is where if a talent gets over on their own, you pay
Yes.
for it. I've noticed that.
It's the Zack Ryder situation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I didn't write this. I didn't do this, so you can't get over it. And then it's very similar in the sense where Vince McMahon couldn't book small guys and Tony Khan can't book big guys. They're more similar than people think. Than people used to. I think more people have figured it out now because
Brody King is getting over incidentally.
Oh yeah.
He's getting over in spite of his booking.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. I thought Malachi Black was holding those guys back.
Yeah, that's. I feel bad for Brody King having to do these terrible jobs to people, like Okada.
But he's looking good doing them.
He does.
I will say that,
Yep.
and many people may not know it, but I've always had I've always looked towards Adam Page. Like that motherfucker, for whatever it's worth, he does try hard. Some of the material he's been given sucks dick. Yeah, a lot of it, especially that fucking EV with the steel horns. Like I still can't get over it. But
that and the butterfly pants, those two.
The butterfly pants.
Like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Go out on
but as far as like,
sorry.
he's trying hard. Same thing with Brody King. There are a few people in AEW who are trying hard, despite what Tony's writing.
That if they would just get some coaching. Now I know Paige just said he's got to listen to veterans. Because maybe that's where, when you're around, like it's like when you're in high school and you hang out with the bad friends, you kind of became more of an asshole. If you could just get him out of there and to the PC with good coaching who wants to see him do better, you're absolutely right. He could probably actually be a star, but unfortunately, it's where we are.
Yeah. I fucked up.
Go ahead.
I thought Jeff Jarrett would be the head booker by now, but that prediction is looking terrible right now. It looks like Tony is going to have a kung fu grip on that book for at least another year.
Oh, well, if nothing else, this month has proven that because, as we said, it's like an 8%. I think it's like 9% at its best for an increase. But he will ride that 9% for the rest of the year. Like, no, when I got more in the weeds, it was better.
Yep.
Right?
That's all it takes.
I'm writing all this.
That's all it takes. That's what scared me at front.
You did. No, that was
because I'm like,
that was in one of our
God.
first episodes or space. Like, I remember that clearly when you said that. And I was like, oh, God. Like, he was one of the things.
What'd you say, George?
You're right, but you will be.
The first spaces, I think I said the ratings went up like 2,000. I'm like, oh, this is a disturbing trend. They're starting to go up.
It went up
like
like
4 weeks in a row, and I'm like, oh shit.
They kept going up even in spite of what was happening. And
right.
Tony was doing the things in the press scrums and the media calls where he's like, hey, this is me. I'm the one writing this. It's all me. And it's that's not a good
We're in the weeds.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he needs more weed.
I'm not going to be. Yeah, I'm not going to be impressed with anything Tony Khan does or anything Dynamite or Collision does until I see a large increase. I'm not talking about from 666,000 people to 900,000 people. No, but by going by this clip, by going by the trends that you guys that these guys have now, we're looking at 800,000 by the end of September. So that is where I'm looking at. If they don't have 800,000 people by September, this whole thing is a bust. We can talk about like their growth spurts and they're falling off of cliffs all the way up until their contract is canceled. And that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, you'll see this week because this week is the go home show for the pay-per-view. And Tony's go home shows are terrible.
They're
historically.
Pay-per-view.
Yes, historically.
They are. Well, and the thing
you'll
is,
be able to tell with the ratings this week coming up if the curiosity factor is gone or people are sticking with it.
And I think it's less about the ratings. Well, yeah, the thing is, it's less about the ratings initially. Like, if the shows were just progressively actually getting fully better, like there are moments where they have had good things, but then there's the terrible stuff with Mercedes and Athena. Like, because if you go back, if you want to, because obviously they want to talk about WCW and WWF back in the day with the Monday Night Wars. Like, if you go back and watch some of that stuff, like WWE guys will talk about how they knew they were going to beat Nitro eventually because they were doing better shows. The crowds were getting hotter. There was a buzz about it, and then eventually the ratings kicked in. Right. They still haven't done that first part for me. Like it's not
right because
because
from Val Venus, to X-Pac to Stone Cold to The Rock, they all believed in what you just said. They all believed that they were like, we know we're making better television. We know it. You asked that of John Moxley. You asked that of Swerve Strickland. You asked that of Mercedes. I guarantee you they couldn't look you straight in the eye and tell you that. We believe that we're going to go and make it to the next level.
Oh no, I think Swerve believes it.
Yeah, Swerve might.
I don't think Swerve believes it. I believe he knows exactly how to play this game of ultra shill for the company.
Because it's been laid out in front of them. They've seen how other people do. Because there's only a few people that have been in Tony's ear the entire time. There's certain people that have their moments of glory and then they fuck it up and go away. But Swerve sees what's worked and he knows that's why he's made his moves. Plus, he's got his own writer who's right there with Tony in the war room, I guess we'll call it, even though they don't do production meetings.
Who's his writer?
Will Washington, his cousin.
Oh, that's right. Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say he was a good writer. I didn't say it was a good situation.
Now, as you can see, never once did I big up Swerve Strickland because he's not in anything decent. And now I know why. Because Will Washington, a super fan, let's be honest, folks, a super fan, no different than me, you, or George.
Yep.
Got the opportunity to write. No one's jealous of him, but if you're going to be in that opportunity, dude, you got to be up day and night. This is not a 1 day a week type thing. You should be blowing hard as far as the blunts and like coming up with some like real creative shit for Swerve Strickland. It should not be this simple and basic. So we're just going to play with golden scissors the whole time, or now we're just going to play with John Moxley, where he's going to go over on you possibly the Saturday or Sunday, whatever the fuck it is, and it's just like and then now what happens to Swerve Strickland? Do you have something written from him for Swerve Strickland after this loss or after this win? That's the bottom line.
Yeah, finishing up your last point on the last thing you guys talked about real quick, I would bet you that if you ask Mercedes or ask Moxley what's on the show, they couldn't even tell you besides their segments.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
No idea.
That can't be good.
No, I mean, you can see that in the matches where they'll have back-to-back matches that have either the exact same finish, very similar spot, or have the same flow or the same comeback moment or whatever, because nobody's talking to each other.
Right. The agents don't get together. There are no production meetings, and as we heard, just like you said, what Tony Khan said, I believe it was in the conference call. Hey man, I'm writing this stuff myself. I'm saying no more. I'm not taking any more of this fucking bullshit. Yeah.
That's still my favorite thing he ever did, because he said that, made those looks with the eyes, and literally from that day on, he has only taken this fucking bullshit. Either that one or the Friday Night War. The Friday Night War. Those are my two favorite Tony Scrum moments.
Yeah. I like how people are a little upset with him because he's not going to allow Sting to go into the, possibly induct Lex Luger. Smart move, Tony. One of very few that you've done. Smart move. Stick it to whoever you got to stick it to. It's your goddamn business.
Do you think he should?
No, he should not.
I understand. I don't see where it's gonna help or hurt. You know what I mean? Like it's tired. He's not.
I'll tell you. I'll give you the answer, George. If Tony Khan is a man of his word, remember, I didn't say if Tony Khan is a man of his word, and he said, "I'm not taking this fucking bullshit anymore. I'm not going to allow these things to happen where Billy Gunn gets on there and gets shitted on. I'm not going to allow these things to happen. The forbidden doors closed from that point on." I would respect Tony Khan more if WrestleMania weekend came and went and Sting was not involved. That's just me, because. Why would you, George, allow Sting? Will it increase your revenue? Will it increase your visibility? Will they ask you to reference All Elite Wrestling? Will they ask you to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't get any of those concessions, I'm not doing it.
I'm going to lose anything though.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you are. I don't think they should.
Yeah,
because I think DDP is just as good.
He's better than Sting as far as an inductee. Yeah.
I know
there's an easier way
to have Sting, but
there's an easier way for him to do it than just saying no and getting the backlash. I would make a demand of something that WWE